Then, like a love story on a railway platform, I saw Zeev waving to me across the packed English Thalids in their plain black combat clothes. I fought through to where the grill heat rose in runway fumes. His dark eyes and bone-white face seemed to take off through the roof and drip back down his sweat. He never looked at me. "My friend, where will you stay tonight?" My strange silence spread across the room. The watchers burst into a starling song. "Very NW6, so SW1, oh God, Clapham is the cradle of creative genius." Hamdi at the sink behind his 2-foot pile of dirty plates trailed a CD through the sauce-brown dishwater, dried it lovingly with a J-cloth. "My friend, wherever it is, can you make your way there at 4 a.m? Sure, before I was a hypnopatsy, I made my way everywhere and I got nowhere. I'm clocking off now, son. Stay till 4 a.m. The night shift, they're busy with their political outrage. Stay to help me, please. Him plate, me bun, him burger. Am I being naive? If you aren't smart, get guidance. Stay, my friend. Stay to save my life." Hamdi, trailing the J-cloth, hissed jealously at me. "Why they say that food tastes beautiful? Why they don't say it tastes handsome? Scatter!" My friend, he says shit in Greek. You see my agony? I could say it fine. I just couldn't get a perfect aim. Says I can't make up my mind, for I love to run my fingers through a man's war record. Why you bring up the Jews? What did you wear in battle, for instance? He threw down his knife. "It was hot in my tank, my friend. Too hot for this fireproof suit to save my skin. I compromised. I peeled off my gloves. 22 times the unit commander caught me out of gloves. 22 little court-martials. Next time, prison. Then one day we were on the checkpoint in Sidon. The unit commander called into me to put my arms up and show my hands. That day it was so hot in there that I was stark naked." "Bollocks?" "Know what I told him?" I shouted. "I can't come out. I have no gloves. You see, I talk about the Jews to you. Now are you happy? Why should we do the Arabs' work? Because they haven't got our charisma. Could you kill for? Could you do that like? A man is flexible, my friend. You want some chili, sir?" Ah, look at him, so black and white and beautiful, giving a kebab to a watcher with acne like luminous yo-yos. I felt yon dolphin between my legs, tipping me the wink. The man was so beautiful, he must be in love with me. Well, I'm flexible too, so I'll stay and save your life." "It's not as simple as that," a middle-aged girl with a big pink cabaret bow was arguing with her pal. "Yes, it is, dung-face," says I, passing her, for I'd found the very first handsome sweetheart of my life, and the opening round of her artillery wasn't going to wet on my morale. It was murder. It was genocide. At 8:30, someone let out all the extras from the films in Leicester Square, and they all ran in with a great silent thunder of feet on the plush red channel of Premier carpet and right through my head, looking for service. The shunting cars of Hamleys broke and splintered open at our door. Mongol hordes, Miami drug raids, Russian revolutions, Indian uprisings, till the air was a wall of fivers waving on the end of punters, Indian ushers epauletted like hussars. Payrolled by the Swiss Centre Bureau de Change, the mercenary watchers pounded down on us in a nightmare of digestion, of calculations, of target-to-ground links. Ahmeds and Abdullahs whirring Nikons like slings, King's Cross receptionists screaming they're partial to cheese, Saudi Mayfair girls with titanium-streaked hairs and 25k furs, Warner Brothers dispatch riders reading for falafel. Our chef and I hit this racing stream of watchers' shite like a biker jumping 1,000 televisions. 1,000,000 bright speeding screens came at us like cat eyes, and we passed between them like their eyes were an avenue of lighted street lamps. The Old Bailey and the Houses of Parliament set out as nerd monuments, beetling up to be blasted down. Next, next, next. Love raiders of the Foreign Legion, models with rohypnol eyeshadow, evicted families from Sheffield, florists for the Opera House crying over wasted blooms, mas and das screeching that all their sprogs are in care. I roared the call to battle all the way through the Greek network temples of the city. Night watchmen in neon marble halls and tramps in plate glass doorways tied by strings of urine to the gutter all looked up from their newspapers as my guided blast shot past. "Tea, my friend," shouted Zeev. Bang! Him saucer, me cup, him spoon, me tea, him milk, and me slapping it down by a watcher, a dentist's son saying, "My father says toothpaste's the worst thing for you." People behind liberal menus behind people's. Bang! Him plate, me pita, him cabbage, me falafel, him tahini, and me running with it to a wee Brit watcher with a check shirt and an earring whose girlfriend was giving him the elbow saying, "I'm going to have a bit of a clear out, okay?" The telemetry of his passion bouncing off the titanian minaret of St. Paul's and strange readings and measurements and back and whack. Him plate, me bun, him burger, see us work, flashing round the world on terrestrial TV like a pair of shoes on dead feet, glimpse sticking out of the bushes of some 10-second war clip. "You assholes and your day off," Zeev was screaming, slamming platters down before tall, silver-haired American diplomats with their long, cold, tanned necks above new Burberrys. Their voices soft, discussing. Parents heard from a child's bed. We're only 20 minutes from the cathedral, but we're 7 hours from Houston. Down our aisle dashed a tall tale under pressure, like a train, and the rattling that covered everything was the rattling of the soot dislodged from the pork pies and cover stories, as folk winded all they'd ever asked for was a nice cup of tea. Tottenham Jamaicans with mealy machetes called Philip Larkin, Italian bus tours, New York executives splurting Diet Coke on their Sundays, gold gym gladiators from a Roman arena, East End radar fences selling off the latest signals, gold Lurex pin legs, watchers buying chalky cake for a little prezzy, eyes bouncing off your bent arse reading it as reversed video, Hamdi holding up a paper plate borrowed to AIDS. To a watcher on table one who was reading a textbook diagram of 3 boxes, each with an arrow into the next. A 12-man family of watchers from Hartlepool begging for a baby bottle. Watcher tramps with pillars of tuppence by their plate. Watcher dwarves just knocked off from a jazz class, pushing their trays of earrings. "Our wee Johnny's been shot," I howled for a gag. "Why scream now, friend? He went 10 seconds ago." Quiches coming up in the lift so fast they were thudding down on the floor in egg and bacon cowpats. Our Kasha selling his own tri-national innards as he prototyped the new ones. Water flow wilting and lights flickering as Fareed, the dirty Lebanese cable tinker, sneaked a branch line off our own pipes, so renegade wiring, dressed as laundry lines, ran all the way to some tin-walled Heathrow camp for aliens. 200 clichés fighting in a tent. God love their girdles, holding in their guts in a gun battle. The poor, poor wee childer skipping to school through crossfires. Cable bandits who'd steal a signal from their own emergency x-rays for their own home use. Oh, dig that lost property deep. Shovel it all into the microwave. Theatre programmes, postcards, hotel keys, crusts the watchers wouldn't eat. An artificial leg caught in a wheel clamp. Brass rubbings, golden pounds, put your golden pounds in the tip saucer for the lovely waitress, sir. Watchers whipping out a spotty tit to feed the childer, watchers with art cinema tickets and paperbacks, no more forks for 10 minutes, no more cheese. We're out of change, no more timeshare in Algarve. Thank you. Zeev was now talking to the roof, talking to our boss's ma. "Thank you for giving birth to this bastard who pays me £30 a week. The quiche, my friend." Faisals running in from caffs around the corner, wearing red flak aprons, begging for teaspoons, paper plates, watchers smoking next to watchers choking, watchers swearing next to old ladies, strangers who grew up on the same street in Ohio sliding their hands into watchers' pockets, watchers leaving without paying, questioning their bills, losing their bills, helping themselves out of my fucking tip saucer, drunks lifting skirts, stepping over suitcases, watchers asking about each other's accents, watchers sleeping against their boyfriends, waiting for trains, planes, dates, service, watchers scalded, watchers puking over a family of 6, watchers led out with something in their eye, watchers, "No more brown bread." Punch-ups, bunk-ups, mops lifted over the packed crowd, showering watchers with broken Fanta glass. "More golden pounds for the lovely waitress, sir." French spooks wanting a glass of water with their coffee, watchers wanting saccharin, aspirin, families of 8 all asking for the cheapest dish, hardy fathers embarrassing daughters, while all around us the rattling road rushed past and vital decisions were taken. Limit Britain's clothes by freezing the supply of coat hangers. Old roadie watchers with pot-bellied t-shirts from their famous old bands. Watchers dragged in to sober up. A table with a single watcher turns into 6 Chinese who've been waiting half an hour. A watcher saying he's ate like a hog for 20 years but he can't get his weight over 9 stone. Tattoos. Mother. Pulse. Wave. Cloud. Signal. Disturbance. Fields. Yields. Chain home. Bathing zone. Watchers' faces geared to make you flinch from the message. A glass eye, a wart, a burn like a half mask. She's got massive tits, a ring in her nose, a string cowboy tie, a pair of crutches, no knickers, a club foot, a twitch, dark glasses, more freckles than you've ever seen in your life, a streaky bottle tan. Watchers suddenly holding hands, talking about the erosion on the M26, disappointed by the play, wondering what to do with Aunt Joan, arranging to go back to that shop tomorrow, humiliating their wives in public, saying, "My father was frightfully dominant," elbows shifting restlessly in a liquid crystal semaphore before the calf mirrors, the pulse of their base eyes swilling over you, cooking you till you were doped, coated or top-hardened, changing your wee fag of a light, irradiating it, responding reasonably to it, breaking the news to its family. "No more kebab for 15 minutes, bellowed Zev. And the world paused. I'm only pulling your leg. Up the stairs and through the stoving crowd staggered the night shift carrying a huge pink raw kebab carcass, heavy enough for 3 men. Lamb wound around a great steel pike on their backs, and steroid jockeys over their pillboxes and fat-free coffee stared at the military might as they rammed it up in front of the grill and it started turning and the watcher started talking again in a penetrating voice about what was said yesterday in the staff room and what they always say when they're shortchanged, while tall, dark, skinny Zeev jumping up on the metal counter in hush puppies holding 50-pound notes to the light as he trashed the burnt bread, as 2 cars crashed out in the street, as he turned up the news on the radio, as he leaned horizontally out like a diving board into the street to scream at a passing minicab driver, causing the old doll to snap a thigh bone, reaching for the clutch as his lips babbled, checking through my bills, as he saved a stack of fallen espresso cups, as he poured red wine over the fire in the bin as he lit a fag. All like he was dancing down a moving airline corridor, while shadowy figures with cases were moving past him, facts passing like oscillating bullets, sounds racing like people panicked and stampeding, as his mitt shook, as suddenly, across the street, the hippodrome came to life. You could just hear the stupid wee chirrup of lasers and strobes of the greatest light show in Europe, the stage rising 40 feet, the packed birch dance floor falling, its stress and density sensors vibrating like a massive pine bow, so the spotty dancers travelled jerkily like tools across a sheet of metal being hammered. Open purple doors projected onto Indian curry flock wallpaper. Steamboat Willie driving his boat across the hidden faces of the stars in the entrance. The giant video screen, a giant cereal packet showing blacklight promos of guys in Buddy Holly jackets and stand-up mics, and the handheld video camera failing to show a mass of leads on a blackout stage, the picture spiking up into a rain of sparklers and flaring, zigzag thighs of backing singers. Green heat pictures of old marquee rockers' lips in spotty slow-mo, iodine dancing UV vests jumping out like snipers into an alley, roving spots, pinpointing the laughter, draining out through the ambulance mics, padded dummy tank androgynes selling freezer bags full of dried parsley and tanne orders with the car registration numbered. UV cuffs glowing in blue like dentures set on edge. People. Dancers floating like motes in the beams of the large metal planet ball on the roof, the laser sun of Mirrorthon dance balls with its tee-hee eye-stabbing rays shooting out of neat-lipped open-mouthed craters. The eerie, wind-echoing shape of it padded with a great duvet of pounding bass, sort of Eddie Cochran beatbox Westworld kind of feel. The queue for to enter the club was bursting right over the road into our already fucked stress crack. Blonde Swedes and Japanese with purple hotel cards in their hip pockets and skin so white it burnt out the view. And all of them were government watchers watching us. They were the high-frequency living dead. So ordinary they were imitation, with their diamond eyelid studs piercing their primary school styes and their round black rasta hats that gloried that their spud faces were white, in their wee slavies half mittens and their mouse fuzz hair henned back from the grave. Watchers with their high-speed saw of and try then and really sweet and I'm using this really beautiful black model for my end-of-term show, and actors saying, I was asked to cry today, and the cocktail gas chambermaids with plum makeup in their skull eye sockets and tiny blue tutus above the goose pimples on their bikini lines, and the barmen with swishing Greek goddess horsetails and Ursula Andress bone structure, and the owl DJs with their long layered frosted hair. And the bouncers, one big bruiser rolling up his sleeves and advancing on his girl saying, I'm gonna give you some quality time, my love. And every single Brit of them had B.O. and ordered an egg sandwich on white bread. Oh, cheers. And the tall tuxedoed culshies with blonde nostrils and girls in evening dress talking about greats and calling after tramps, excuse me, you've dropped a fiver, and how dare you, my parents pay for me. I felt the hair on my neck rise, like when you're paying off a taxi in the heart of the Shankill and you hear a butcher scratch his ear behind you. But something was telling me that each personality was just a corridor we were walking down, that each face opened inward to another. And they intended that the chef, Zeev and I should drift like fucking cows down one smiling passage and then another and another. And the more you looked up one passage, one back passage with his wacky hat and one dreadlock, the more you twigged that he was nothing but a friggin' maze of happy hallways growing on one decision tree, a tree of environments where you could find and access the emerald green checkpoint, Trafalgar Square, Lisburn Road Spar, the plucky little ships, the plucky little king, the boy king, the graveyard electronic tomb robber. Highgate. Hamdi, the Egyptian, started. He dropped his plate. He looked around as if a ghost had walked on his North London grave. He grabbed my arm and hissed, Highgate, who say Highgate? That funky wee Egyptian wasn't wise. Yeah, we were among faithful folk, for faithful meant something new now. Faithful meant to exactly capture some other thing. The only faithful things now were colours, shapes and rates. Them watchers, real? They were about as real as the graphics in front of a trainee pilot. And then, suddenly, it was 2 a.m, and all tomorrow's newspapers were passing into the caff, hand over hand above the crowd, to mop up the brown sauce where the paparazzis, who were waiting for the stars to come out across the street, now turned the news pages to their own shots, page 3 and diary page, and reading 20 things you didn't know about the SAS. And at last, after all the hours of my longing, after the hundreds of taxis had circled like vultures and stretched Hezbollah mobiles, and the last ambulance, a chip van, after the heads had been butted and total women had cried because Nicola's got ripped off and their tits had popped out of their bustiers and they'd got to get back to Peckham, it was the moment to end all moments. Zeev, the chef's white hand slowly turned over the sign on the cafe door. Closed. 0400 hours. The shocked emptiness of the tabletop spread out into the wet street, glistening with English ammonia. 0400 hours. Where would the chef take me and what dirty things would he do to me? For why else would a handsome soldier ask a hypnopatsy like me to stick around?